Was that the cutest little child, little daughter, except yours, of course. My stars, that. Whatever happened to the human race? What on earth? Yeah, it was on earth. What on earth happened? I got some mail one time from the National Women's Law Center. Boy, there's a great organization. Sounds good. National, good, whole nation. Women's, fine. Law, that's good. Center. And this is their mantra. Abortion is love, justice, and essential. What ever happened to our planet? What happened to our people? What happened to the human race? By the way, sorry I was out of order, and we wanted to hear you forever for what you shared with us, and we do it every year, and we're glad. Abortion of the human race. 150 years ago, a black man was considered a non-person. Are you ready for this? 150 years ago, on this planet, on this nation, a black man was considered a non-person. And don't we honor those who went to bat to prove that to be wrong? And we honor minorities all over the world promoting human rights. But today, 150 years later, a baby in the womb is a non-person. We're doing it again. We're doing the same thing we did 150 years ago. A baby in a womb is a non-person, a fetus, a blob of cells, a glob of protoplasm. I heard this one for the first time. Pregnancy contents. Now think about that just for a moment. Who made that one up? Pregnancy contents. And you can have it murdered right up to the day of birth. If that happened in 150 years, what about the next 50 or 100 or 150? 1979, Francis Schaeffer and C. Everett Koop wrote a powerful book called Whatever Happened to the Human Race. That is the perfect title. What happened? Glenn, you were talking about this battle that's going on, this war that's going on. If this isn't part of that war, to actually kill the human race, what a strange thing. I'd like to give a summary sermon of the second chapter in that book. We talked about in the Sunday school class this morning, we talked about Francis Schaeffer, and I thought maybe this would be a good idea, and we'll see how it goes. Chapter 1 in the book is called The Abortion of the Human Race. There are comments in the book from both authors, and I'll share. I'm not going to give which one is which, but I may be making comments from myself in order to give an illustration. I'll try to make sure I'm telling you when I'm giving my opinion This is how he starts the book. We stand on the edge of a great abyss. How are we treating people? How have we been doing over the last few thousand years? Treating each other. Oh, we just kill each other. We just kill each other. That's a simple thing. We just haven't always done it well as human beings. I've been to Israel, like some of you in this room. You've been to the Yad Vashem. I'm sorry. You've been to the Yad Vashem Holocaust exhibit. What on earth happened? 6 million Jews. 6 million Jews killed by the people of Germany, the Nazis. Oh my. And I will never forget at the end of the exhibit, and if you were there, you'll never forget it either. There's a pile of baby shoes, about this big. It's about 6 feet high. These were at least born. These children were at least born. But they didn't go very far. They were all killed too. Whatever happened to the human race? What are we doing? Yad Vashem, a memorial and a name from Isaiah 56:5. If you have your bulletin there, you've got your outline. I hope we've got. If you don't have one, raise your hand. Okay, we've got some. Raise your hand. We'll get you those. You can go through. We're going to go fast. We're a little late, but we're right on time. This is his outline. This is his words. Francis Schaeffer, 1979, wrote the book and the movie. First, he talks about the thinkable and the unthinkable. What we believed and thought was right was the thinkable. That's normal stuff, thinkable. But things changed so quick. What happened? It seemed like the thinkable things, the normal good things we're talking about, started back with Greeks, but actually before that and a little after that, to the Judeo-Christian ethic, which meant life is a good thing. Life is life. God is the center of society. Life was of value. What is the tomorrow or this week? Sanctity, the sanctity of life. That really is a beautiful statement. We believe that, but did you know that your neighbor does not believe that? Your neighbor probably doesn't believe in the sanctity of human life. That's why it's a simple thing to get an abortion. That's why it's a simple thing to kill his neighbor. That's in fact why he may kill himself. The Hippocratic Oath. The Hippocratic Oath was eventually the basis of our belief. C. Everett Koop talks about if you were in medical school at graduation, you made a vow. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life from the time of conception. 1948, that was the standard, a basis for hospitals. In 1971, the oath was changed at the Declaration of Geneva. I will maintain the utmost respect for human life. Did you notice a difference? They left out from the time of conception. Boy, that changes everything. Man entered the scene. Francis Schaeffer says, man is now the centerpiece of life. We live in a humanistic society, and man is the center. That started with evolution and the fact that it's all by chance anyway. Schaeffer's he's on target. Society and even the church has set the Bible and God aside and put man in center place. When you put man as the center of the world, you are now in trouble. You're going in the wrong direction. Humanism is dominant in our world. He was writing in 1979. How about today? Man's just a machine. His brain is a computer. All is by chance. There's no reason for it to occur. We're just accidents of time anyway. Francis Schaeffer, point number 2. Will it be God's law or human law? What do you think, friends? God's law or human law? Will it be God's law or human law? In the courts, a whole lot of stuff goes on in the courts. You were not asked. They just did it. When it's man's law or sociological laws, even deciding who should live or die, goes to the courts. Those that proposed it couldn't win by majority vote, so they went to the courts. Human cruelty is now open for business because man is only a product of chance, so nothing is standing in the way to be cruel. How cruel can you be? Who cares about cruel? Human beings are just machines anyway. Number 3, he brings up humanism. We don't talk about it too much. Boy, we ought to. We ought to point it out. We ought to point a finger at humanism and say, hey, please, We have God's law. How about humanism defined? By the way, people love to tinker with humanity, right? Their bodies, their brains, their genes, and I don't mean 501s. Humanism rejects the doctrine of creation. Second, nothing is stable or given about human nature. Human nature is part of a long process of change. We're always looking for a solution to despair because we don't know what to do in life. We've lost our moorings. We've left God, and we're just looking how to get out of this despair that we seem to have now. All answers are in the human will, and humanism is the manipulation of nature, even genetic engineering. Francis Schaeffer describes or proclaims that today man is not made in the image of God, as you said. He would oppose that. Man is not in the image of God. Man is made in the image of man, because man is central. He can do what he wants. You can do what you want. There are no ethics. Man isn't special. Don't talk about the sanctity of human life. Please, do not talk about the sanctity of human life. There's no sanctity in human life. There's nothing special. Human life has now cheapened. And so we are just covered with things like infanticide, killing babies after they're born, euthanasia, killing people at the end of their life. There's no value for you. You're sitting in a rest home. You've been there for 10 years. Let's just destroy the person. That's euthanasia. The increase of child abuse. Child abuse. They say that the number one problem of child abuse is neglect. Kids have no care. Nobody's caring for them. Many living alone by themselves. No help. Pornography. Sadomasochism. The torture of prisoners. He talked about that a lot. Francis Schaeffer looks at the whole world and says, what on earth? What happened to the human race? It's not that we were all doing so wonderful, but it's gone downhill, and it's gone down fast. We're destroying ourselves. In communistic countries who've had humanism forever, it's really ugly. Infanticide, euthanasia, pornography, child porn, child abuse, incest. In movies, it has exploded. But abortion's the big one. Abortion is the big one. Kill the child anytime from conception to birth. Imagine a parent thinking, I could kill the child before he's born. It's called abortion. I can kill the child before he's born. I don't have to have him. I didn't really want him. So if I want to knock him around now as my son or my daughter, I can do what I want. I can beat the tar out of my child because it doesn't matter. The doctor beat the tar out of him when he killed him, and I gave him up. Parents who are apprehended for child abuse must feel the system is unfair. If I can kill him before birth, can't I do that afterwards? James Dobson noted that if a woman planned to terminate her pregnancy, she commonly refers to the life within her as a fetus. But if she intends to deliver and love and care for the little child, she affectionately calls him or her my baby. To show the schizophrenia, this is Schaeffer. He says to show the schizophrenia in hospitals years ago, and still it's happening. You have one area of the hospital where they're doing great things to save the life of a baby in the womb. In other area of the same hospital, they're killing the babies. What is going on? Whatever happened to the human race? We've become crazy. He says, many of these who were killed were unborn babies who were normal and often larger in size. So sad. Minors who could not legally purchase liquor or cigarettes could have an abortion on demand without parental consent or knowledge. Imagine what Schaeffer would say today with the progress of medical procedures to change a child's anatomy to become transgender without parental consent. We're having progress, they said. I read that in the paper the other day. We're making progress. What a joke. But it's no joke. It's a baby. Abortion on demand is law, so when a million children are aborted each year, it proves how our belief in the sanctity of human life has eroded. Imagine seeing, I got thinking about this week and it just made me sick. Imagine seeing 1 million dead babies in a pile. What were we thinking? In the movie version of Whatever Happened to the Human Race, one of the pictures, they film a surf with all sorts of suds or in the surf with hundreds of naked baby dolls being washed back and forth by the tide. We work our head to provide wheelchair ramps and access to transportation in restrooms and buses, but we destroy the newborn. We destroy those that haven't been born yet. We do all we can do to preserve life. Just ask Brian and Anna. I wish they were here today. They're probably listening online. 2 pounds. They're working their head off. Wow. 50, 100 years ago, a 2-pound baby, 0 chance. Didn't have a chance. Now, it's 50%. 50. Praise the Lord for that. Just like me, my baby brother died in 1957. He was born without certain veins or arteries from the heart to one of his lungs. They went in and worked their head off at Children's Hospital and put in an artificial one, kept him alive for 5 months. We were so excited. 5 months, and then passed away. Before that, not a chance. Now, oh my goodness, it's just a simple operation, and they do it all the time. Abortion techniques. I'll be quick with this. It's on your notes. DNC, dilation and curettage. Scraping the wall of the uterus with a little mini hoe. It's always nice. Suction abortion. Tearing out the body parts one by one. C. Saline abortion. Injecting saline into the sac. Burning the skin right off the baby immediately, and then killing the baby because he can't breathe anymore. Hysterotomy, killing, almost like an abortion, hysterectomy, just taking him out, not for life, but taking him out for death. Whatever happened to the human race? The book was done in 79. The abortion pill, as you talked about, the abortion pill didn't come out till 80. In the United States in 2000, Francis Schaeffer didn't even know about those. Think of that. Live births after abortions. That he talked about that a lot after talking to C. Everett Koop. What an embarrassing thing. What do you do now? You abort 1 million a year, and you're taking away 1 million opportunities for people who can't have babies. They're childless and they wish they could adopt. But there's not enough. And I finish with these 3 final thoughts. These are in his notes, in his book. Why is it that so few abortion counselors like Planned Parenthood? Why is it so few abortion counselors are fair to the whole person of the pregnant woman? Why is it just the body? That lady has a heart. That lady has a mind. That lady has feelings. That lady has memories. Why didn't they tell me? How many times we've heard this before? Why didn't they tell me about the physical dangers, the after effects, the empty arms, the emotional results, the psychological consequences, aborted mothers, the humanness of the mother, motherliness, Abortion doesn't solve all your problems. It just exchanges your problems for another set. Letter B, abortion is not a Roman Catholic issue. They used to talk about that a lot in the 1970s. It's just a religious problem. It's just a Roman Catholic problem. No. If you don't get anything, I hope you get this. Abortion is a human issue. Whatever happened to the human race? Oh, they said it's a violation of separation of church and state. Recently, the present Pope said we should maybe not abort, but we should award women with abortion forgiveness. Don't know quite what that means. The Supreme Court's ruling on January 22, 1973, Schaeffer was concerned that it could be a precursor to infanticide. If we can kill the baby in the womb, why can't we kill the baby outside the womb? From making abortion legal to making infanticide legal, or even euthanasia, the elderly, the handicapped, those with birth defects. By the way, why is everybody getting ultrasounds? Why are the ladies all getting the ultrasound? I've talked with a lot of people. And the truth is, they were concerned that the baby would have problems. The baby might have Down syndrome. Well, thank you very much. Checking for congenital defects. Human rights have been challenged in this country since we began in 1776. We haven't always been good to each other. So we have taken the rights away of people of color. We take the rights away of Native Americans. We take the human rights away of senior citizens. We take the human rights away of the handicapped, religious people, and then babies. That's kind of the ultimate. Babies have no voice for themselves. Francis Schaeffer was clear on that. Let's be their voice. Let's be their voice and defend their rights to at least be born, right? As Christians, we love life. We love physical life, and we love eternal life. John Piper said, how things change. The abortion industry kills as many black people every 4 days as the Ku Klux Klan has killed in 150 years. Just dwell on that a little bit. The abortion industry kills as many black people every 4 days as the KKK has killed in 150 years. I hope you appreciated hearing Francis Schaeffer. This was not me. I threw in a few things that you could tell by talking about Dobson and some people that are post Schaeffer. But let's stand for life. Every year I bring out my baby, my little baby, the little plastic baby. Does somebody have their the little insert in their? Yes. Could you read that, please? Out loud. Real loud. Real loud. Size one day, you were that size. Some of you still are kind of small. Some of you are real tall, like my granddaughter. Whatever happened to the human race? Let's not be included in that crowd, all right? But let's think together. Let's think.